Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in to Concrete with Hosses. Before the video gets started today, I just wanted to give you a little background on it. It's going to seem a little confusing if I don't. This video started happening back in November and December of 2021. A viewer asked me if I would make him some countertops, if he would come and get them. And I said, yeah, we've never done that, but okay. So I was going to say no, and then a couple emails turned into a couple conversations, and we just sort of connected pretty good. It seemed like a nice guy, and he is a very nice guy. So we decided to push forward with the project, and then he was supposed to pick them up, and then he asked me if I would deliver them, and I said no right away. I can't deliver these countertops halfway across the country. Just don't have the time for it. And now we're getting into December and so forth, and it turns out he's right down the street. Hey buddy, you helping me? Yeah, come on up here. So he said, we're right here. He said if I deliver them, we could make a long weekend out of it, or whatever. He'd pay me a little extra money. But I agreed to do it because my friend lived down the street from him. So I borrowed a trailer from Mike Morgan, called my friend. Well, first of all, I called Mike Morgan, and before I could tell him the whole story, he's like, yeah, you can use whatever you need. I started saying, hey, can I borrow it? And he's like, yes. I'm like, you don't even know what I'm asking for. He said, I don't care. You can borrow it. So I borrowed his brand new trailer. I called my friend and said, hey, I'm heading your way. Can you help me? Yes. I'm like, well, hold on. Yes, I'll help you, whatever. If you're heading my way, I'll help you. So everything's just clicking in place. So the project, as you're about to watch, is a video that's spread over months. So I just wanted to highlight on it. It's my biggest countertop I've ever done, delivered halfway across the country. I hope you like it. We don't typically do this, but in this case we did. So I just felt like I should elaborate on that before the video gets started. What do you think, Finn? Yeah? Okay. Yep, camera.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Concrete with the Hosses. It's a pretty nice day out. Still a little bit cold. Things are awfully muddy out there. We worked this morning, mud up to our knees. Got done what we could, so we came back to the garage. Steve and Tracy, this is the day. We're getting started on your countertop. Just cleaning out the garage, getting ready for everything. This was from the last job I did. All that debris left behind. So we just give it a good thorough cleaning, power wash the walls, work it all right out the door. We'll be started in minutes. Okay, so I'm up in the wood shop. I cut 9 strips of melamine, 2 1/4 inches tall, and I pre-drilled a bunch of holes in it for my screws. Last row right here. Okay, so they're about every 12 inches, every board. So now I can stand these up, screw them straight down to the perimeter of my countertop. See you downstairs. Okay, this is the drawing that Steve sent me. This is the perimeter of his outdoor grill area. There's seating on 3 sides, A, B, and C. D, E, and F, no seating. So these sides get cantilevered over 12 inches. So I need to add 12 inches to 12 foot 4. So that becomes 14 foot 4 inches. 14.4. Just making my way right around the paper. So this side is 11 feet. That makes that 12 feet plus 1.5 inches overhang on the stone. So that makes this side 12 foot 1.5 inches. Moving on to this side, 37 inches. Excuse me. Add 1.5 inches for the overhang. Add 12 inches for the seating. If my math is correct, 50.5 inches. So that puts 1.5 inch overhang here. The A side, 37 inches plus 12, 49 plus 1.5 inches, 50.5 inches. I'm going to check all this. 50.5 inches. So that'll be my layout right here on the floor. And this is why I don't have a table to work on, because we do all sorts of sizes and shapes. The melamine is 48 inches. So I put these little extenders on the sides, covering this all up with plastic. We're pouring this top side of concrete as top of countertop. So I need a little extension here to make this 50.5 inches plus a little bit for my forms. Okay, so here I am back down in the lower garage. This is the shape of my countertop. So I just start at my square corner, and we are actually going to radius this a little bit. But what I want to do is I have a 1/2 inch broken stone liner right here, so plus a 1/2 inch, and then this side is seating. So I slide my tape out to my 1/2 inch mark and put a pencil mark at 12 inches. This is my cantilevered edge out here. So now I have this corner right here. So I can slide my tape, put it right on my pencil mark, and I know my number is 12 foot 4. So I slide down to 12 foot 4 inches pencil mark. So that brings me to this corner, and this is seating, so it's plus 12 inches. So that comes to 13.4 pencil mark plus my broken stone edging plus a 1/2 inch. So I circle my mark that I want to put my form on. This could get confusing, but if I would stop and one of the guys would come in and see this writing and they see this circled, they would know to go to that. So now I slide my tape all the way back tight to the form. 14 foot 5 inches. Put the tape measure over there and pull it down and put a pencil mark at 14 foot 5 inches and circle it. Now I'll put a straight edge on here and draw a line
This should be perfectly square because that is perfectly square. So I'll get that set up and we'll check it. Okay, now I'm on the A side. So I have to add a 1/2 inch for my broken stone face. This side is seating, so it's 12 inches cantilevered edge. So I come over 12 inches, moving my tape each time. 12 inches. So that brings me to this corner right here. 37 inches corner to corner. Boom, my tape right there. 37 inches. This side is the grill, is the refrigerator and sink area. So there's only an 1.5 inch cantilever edge here. So 37, that turns into 38.5. Plus my broken stone liner, 39. Slide the tape all the way back. My new number is 51.5 inches. So 51.5 inches. Right here. So I'll put a mark right here, and tomorrow when I have help, we'll pull a tape measure on a diagonal and make sure we're perfectly square. That's where I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Okay, so I'm back up here this morning. I just put my end board on 50.5 inches. I have a mark on there, 50.5. Steven's upstairs cutting a board. As soon as he gets down here, we're going to do diagonal and check this and make sure it's square. There he is right now. Okay, ready, Steve? Yep. Okay. Good. 15 feet even. I don't think that's ever happened.
No.
Perfectly square, 15 feet even. Couldn't get any better. Good. Okay, so we know we're square. Now I'm just going to snap a chalk line for this baseboard and get that one in. Okay, so everything is framed in. We just did a diagonal square on this. Everything is perfectly square. Steve, I hope your base is square. I'm sure it is. So now we just wrap this with, first I want to lay plastic down, cut that to fit, and then I'm going to wrap it with our broken stone face. Okay, this countertop is outside on a bar, not a bar, like a grilling area. So I'm not going to use my steel reinforcement that we normally use, because this will expand and contract as the sun hits it and gets the concrete hot. The fiberglass supposedly does not do it, or nearly as much. So if the concrete expands, the steel may crack the concrete where the rebar, the fiberglass rods, excuse me, will not. I'm all braced against Stevens. We're going to pour his first. Now nothing will move. This is where we're going to have a seam in the concrete. So I stopped my rebar right on my line. And we'll pick up new rebar and we'll leave a little gap between them.
That way whenever I saw cut it, it'll saw cut nice and clean. So that's one piece, 2 pieces, final piece. Okay, last piece of step liner. I keep saying step liner. Countertop broken stone edge. Cut these on a 45 to get a nice corner. Just a simple joint clip, squeeze clamp. One, 2, 3 square corners, 1, 2, 3 radius corners. Rebar's cut. I'll start weighing out some material. So next I'm weighing out all my material. 250 milliliters of Super P, that's the water reducer. 4 pounds of silica fume, that's the densifier. 2 pounds of color, and just a cup of fiber. Those are all the ingredients that go in with my sand and cement. First batch is underway mixing. This one's almost done. I'll get another one going right away. I have 3 batches all weighed out, ready to go. Steve's almost done with his. He's making a fireplace hearth. What color is that, Steve?
Color?
Yeah.
Charcoal.
Charcoal. Our first batch of cement mixed up. They just spread it around the bottom. Just putting clumps everywhere, and we'll level those out. Once we get about an inch across the bottom, we'll go ahead and set our rebar in. Okay, here we are, home stretch. Steven's starting to straight edge. You can see all the lows. So it'll take quite a few passes with this to get it all trued up real nice. I have my last batch of concrete mixing up. I couldn't mix it fast enough. The guys were putting it in there so fast. That's just about done, looking pretty good. It's a messy process, but it sure looks neat when we're done. It's a real tight mix. It's really hard to straight edge.
For most people.
Okay, you can have it. All right, I think we got enough concrete on the ground. We just got to put it where we want it now. This is really a slow setting mix. We got all the time in the world to work with this. In here in the shade. As I just said, we're inside the shop. It's nice and cool out. We're in the shade. This concrete set, it's really slow. It's a real high cement concentrate. We could break, and we have taken it to a lab, we break about 10,000 PSI, pounds per square inch of pressure to break this concrete, 10,000. To put that in perspective, our driveways, when we order concrete, are at 4,000 PSI. This mix is 10,000, so it's a real strong mix. However, it just sets up nice and slow under these conditions. The important thing is get everything trued up as flat as we possibly can. Look how slow I'm going with that straight edge. If you watch any other videos of my crew and myself straight edging and moving through the concrete, it's just go, go, go. Where here, it's the total opposite. Just slow as we can go, and perfection. These have to be perfect. For when we, in this case, take halfway across the country and set in place. We don't want there to be a hump or a dip or low spot, high spot. We want them to be right on the money. And this is true in any case. You know, down the street or across the country, these countertops, if you're going to do countertops, this is where you take your time, straight edge it until it is just perfect. A lot of times we'll pour these upside down where the top of the concrete is on the bottom side. In this case, these are right side up, and I'll show you why here in upcoming parts of the video. So the concrete's all straight edge, nice and flat. I didn't trowel anything yet. It's just sitting there. If I trowel it now, I get too much movement. It's really soft yet. So just let it sit there, tighten up. Like I said earlier, it's a real slow setting mix. It gets right about 10,000 PSI, probably just over 10,000 PSI. So real slow setting. So we'll just leave it sit there for now while I go grab some lunch. Got all cleaned up outside. It's messy, but we're set up pretty good where I can just, you know, wash it into our gravel lot. You know, cleanup isn't that bad. Okay, I'm back up here at the shop. It's about 6 o'clock. Concrete's been on the ground now 4 or 5 or 6 hours, just setting up real slow. I continually come up and check on it about every 45 minutes to an hour. Just walk up, still a little bit soft, go back home, go upstairs working the trucks or whatever I was doing. But now, 6 o'clock, the concrete is ready to trowel. If I trowel it too soon, I believe I just said this in the previous frame, you just get too much movement and now it's not flat anymore. I want this concrete to be nice and firm. So just smoothing everything out. One final time here, getting all the edges trued up, filled up. And once I take my time and go across the entire surface, troweling it nice and smooth, I can take and put my slate impression on it. This is an outdoor barbecue area. A couple grills, side burner, a sink, I believe, all get cut into this. So I'm going to do those cutouts whenever I get it to the property and installed. I didn't want to transport it there and have it crack off of one of my corners. So back to the troweling process, get it all nice and smooth, and then I'll spray my liquid release on it just like I do my patios and give it a slate texture. So that'll be coming up shortly as I complete this process. As I'm making my way around the perimeter, just checking all the edges, surface area. If I see a lump or something that just doesn't look right, at this point I can still repair that area. Wasn't sure how I wanted to say that. I can dig it out, I can mix it a little bit better. The way I mix this in the mortar mixer, sometimes I get a ball of material, whether it's a ball of fiber mesh or sand that just didn't get broke up. So I can, right here I believe I do that. I dig a little bit out that I just didn't like the look of it in the area right there. I dig that out and I just add a little bit of material to it and trowel it back in. Now's the time to do that, not tomorrow when the concrete's good and hard and I see a little discolored spot in there. I want to address all that right now. Okay, last little bit. Okay, so everything's troweled, smooth. Got one line right there. It's giving me a hard time. Okay, we're gonna call that good. Almost done. Okay, the concrete's been troweled now for just about 10 or 15 minutes. The more you work it, the wetter it gets. So that's kind of wet right in there. But over here, we're real nice. It is ready. So this is my Helena Tan antiquing. And it's just like a real fine powdery dust. So I just fluff it where it's nice and loose in the can. Just lay it right on, covering the whole entire surface. Okay, as I move around the perimeter with my slate skins, I'm just giving a little bit of pressure. I don't want real highs and lows. I just want to rub that slate texture into the surface of the concrete. Whenever you set a glass down on this, you don't want it to tip over or even lean. The difference between the highs and lows, not even an 1/8 of an inch difference. Just a real minor slate texture. That's all I'm looking for in this application. Okay, so I just recorded stamping with the slate skin the whole entire surface. Notice how I just worked all the way around, nice overlap in the middle, nice and thorough. I think it went pretty good. Okay, that'll be it for tonight.